thrill me.
This show is part of the Thrill Me Podcast Network. Experience more on Facebook and YouTube.
It's Review It Man, reviewing what he can. Movies are his jam, so let's get twisted, man. It's Review It Rob.
Hey yo, welcome into the Reveal It Rob show, man. Appreciate you hitting that play and checking in on this show. Gonna be talking about the film Civil War. That was the biggest release this week, so gonna talk about that on this episode, as well as got some DC news, horror news, and anything else kind of going on in the movie realm that was picked to talk about on the show. So we're going to talk about that stuff. CinemaCon happened this week, so going to touch on some parts of that, but for the most part, got a special event happening on the Thrill Me Podcast Network. Special episode coming up. We're going to be talking about this stuff more detail, I believe, so we're going to leave a lot of that stuff over there, but I couldn't not talk about some of it on this show, man. So going to touch on some things announced at CinemaCon and some stuff that happened at CinemaCon. And then, we're going to, of course, get into our review this week. Off the rails already, but that's how the show works. So Civil War, like I mentioned, that is the big release of the week. It is a action drama film running in at 1 hour, 49 minutes. It's currently in theaters. It is rated R for strong, violent content, bloody and disturbing images, and language throughout. It doesn't mention it, but there is some drug use in the movie as well. This film pretty much journey across dystopian future America, not too far off in America, following a team of military-embedded journalists as they race against time to reach D.C. before rebel factions descend upon the White House. Rotten Tomatoes has the critic score of 83%, while the audience score is at 81%. Pretty close there, pretty close. IMDb 7.6 out of 10. So, what were my thoughts on the film, man? So, I remember seeing the trailer a while back. I've seen it sporadically in theaters while watching movies, and it always looked interesting to me. I'm like, okay, I get it. I get the gist of it. And I never really saw the synopsis. It's the first time I read the synopsis of the film, but pretty much. But I got the gist from seeing the trailer. Like, I knew what I was getting into. There's this unrest happening in America, and there is a war that has broken out, Civil War, obviously, and we're just gonna be following along that. Now, that part of it, big part of the movie, of course, but the main focus of the film itself is on our press. Our press journalists are the people that we're mostly focused on in this movie. Of course, the big star of the film being Kirsten Dunst. So that is where our focus is. That's where our character is. That's where our story is evolving around. We're going to be following these journalists as they go through the film. Now, again, going to talk around myself to not spoil anything, but they are on their way to D.C., as it mentioned there in the synopsis, to hopefully get to the White House for a journalist mission, if you will. I will say the cast, fantastic. Don't have a problem whatsoever with the cast. All do a fantastic job with performances in this film, man. All of them hit exactly what they needed to hit. Like I mentioned, I mentioned Kirsten Dunst a minute ago. She's great. Wagner is great. Kaylee Spaney, who not too long ago I did a review on the show of a film that she was a star of, Priscilla. She played Priscilla Presley in the Priscilla film, man, and she was good in that. Really good in this movie as well. She does a great job. Jesse Plemons, fantastic actor. We all love him. Stephen McKinley, fantastic in the movie as well. So cast, strong. Performances across the board, strong. Story. Now, the story is where I think people are running into issues, because I've seen some people talking about the film on social media and all that stuff, and some people have called it extremely boring. And after watching the film, I wasn't bored at all, to be honest with you, but I can see where that kind of comes from, because it is kind of a dialogue-y film for portions, and a good bit of portions of the movie there is dialogue-driven moments, and that's just kind of one trying to get or know our characters a little bit more. So it's where the dialogue aspect comes in, and it builds the tension, and it builds the worry, of course, and it builds the what is the goal? What is the mission for these people as they're going across to get over to DC, right? As they're traveling to get to DC. So, and of course, in that traveling, you're going to run into some issues and run into some problems and, crazy things that are happening. Some scenes maybe didn't need to happen, but I I understand why they put them in the movie. They just either whether it is filler or whether it's just a creative decision to take uh, fun of certain parts of America or whatever. I don't know, but I can see why they put it in there and all that stuff. Like for instance, Smith and Jesse Plemons probably didn't need his scene in the movie at all. Good scene, a lot of tension and a lot of tension built there. A lot of craziness going on and all that stuff, but probably didn't need it. Probably I don't think it really did too. I don't know. It's one of those things where I sit back, I think I get why it's in the movie. It builds, like I said, tension, and there's some moments that happen during it that I'm not going to spoil. So I get why it's there, and it is a moment for sure in the movie. And didn't hate it, but at the same time, like I don't know if we needed it. If that makes sense, you know what I'm saying? Um, as far as the war portion of the movie, like I said, I get it. It's pretty easy to get into. America's at an unrest, parts of America's at an unrest, and they're battling and all that stuff. And the president's kind of a dictator and all that stuff. So I get that. I get what's going on there and all that stuff. Would have been nice if they explained it a little bit better in the movie. And don't get me wrong, I don't need stuff fully explained to me to enjoy a movie because I was captivated by the film. I was sitting there the whole time watching it intently. I'm like, okay, see where this is going. Okay, this is crazy. That's happening right now. How are they getting through this? Like I mentioned, very, very tension film. Like it's an A24 movie. So, and you might quickly understand what I'm saying here when I say A24. Some of you may not, if you don't pay attention to the A24 stuff. But A24 makes these movies that are mostly about using your mind, if you will. Like they like to do things that will trip you out or a little over the top, or they're going to make you focus in on something and really use your brain and hone in and try to see how you would feel in that moment and how all that stuff would happen, right? And it's one of those movies. It's one of those movies. Like I said, we're following a press team that's in the middle of war, and you may have seen photos. Like I've never even thought about it all this much, but obviously there's been photos that have come out from wars and real life and all that stuff. So you never really think, I guess, about the press people that are there on the front lines with all of them that are going through it. So it was interesting to see that played out in the film. And again, tension is the word. This movie is a tension film. So seeing the tension of them, being there and getting the shots, and you're sitting there watching, and you're like, oh crap, are they going to get shot? Are they going to get hit in the line of fire? Like, what is? You start worrying about those characters a little bit and all that stuff. So I think they did a good job there. Story is fine. Again, performance is fantastic throughout. You know, um, the tension is the main aspect of the film. The war stuff, saw the film in RPX, and at first I'm like, why is this movie in RPX? Just from based off of what I'm seeing in the trailer. Like, I get there's a war going on in the movie, and there are scenes with gunfire and bombs and explosions and all that stuff. I get that, but it wasn't clicking in my head why it would be in RPX. But I watched it in RPX, and it was, the bombs are loud as hell, and the gunfire's loud as hell, and the seats are shaking and all that stuff. So it was an interesting atmosphere to be a part of, and enjoy. So the film, what I remember saying when I left this movie, is the one thing I just mentioned to you. It's like, oh, that's interesting. I don't think about press being in the middle of the war and stuff like that. So it was interesting to see how that all plays out and how that works and everything. And I know it's a film, so I don't know how accurate it is to what goes out there, but I can see that being an accurate portrayal of it. And then the other thing I left with there was like I enjoyed the movie. Like I said, I was captivated, but I don't think I would ever watch this movie again on purpose. Like, I don't think I would ever purposely watch this movie. Like, if I was hanging out with friends or something and we're like having a movie hangout or watching along or whatever, and this movie was a movie that was picked, cool, I'll watch it and we can have discussions about it and all that stuff, which is fun, like having movie discussions. But I don't know if I would ever purposely watch the movie again. Maybe a couple years down the line or something like that. I'd be like, cool, I'll check it out. Here it is. Oh, it just so happens to pop up on the streaming service while I'm looking for something to watch. Hey, I haven't seen this in a little bit. I'll watch it again. Because I think it is intriguing enough to watch. Like that stuff. I don't agree with people who've said, and again, it's all subjective. Movie reviewing is all subjective. So people who say they were bored with it, they were bored with it. That was their thing. I was never bored with the movie. I never had that portion enter my brain at all. I didn't fall asleep during it. I was very tired, but I did not fall asleep at all. I was interested. I wanted to see how things are going. I was on the journey with our press team and wanted to see what is going to happen with them and how is everything going to work out there. So I didn't have much of an issue with the film. I just don't think it's something I'm going to want to purposely watch again. if that makes sense. Like, it's good. It's a good movie. It's an enjoyable movie. But I don't know if I'm going to rush out to watch it again. Just my thoughts. Like I said, there are other thoughts out there. I've seen a lot of people call it a masterpiece, and I can see that. I can see people calling it that. I can see it being that way. I can see it being boring for some people. That's how movies work sometimes. So, um, I personally enjoyed it. So my thoughts on it: it is enjoyable. Do you need to see it in theaters? I'll leave that up to you. Like I said, it is enjoyable and captivating enough to me that I'm glad I did see it in theaters. I didn't second guess or hate the fact that I saw this movie in theaters or anything like that. So, but I will leave that up to you. Again, it's only an hour and 49 minutes, so it's not going to take too much of your time. And it's, like I mentioned, there's some moments in the film that are maybe slow for some people and all this stuff with like the character information and, the character bonding and stuff like that. But I think it worked fine. Like I said, I was captivated the whole time. I was interested the whole time when everything was going on. I wanted to see what was going to happen. I was every single time. The action scenes are great. They works very well. It seems realistic, not over the top. So I enjoyed it. At the end of the day, I enjoyed that film. Even though I said I probably won't watch it again, or not for a long time. But I did enjoy it. I think it is a enjoyable enough film if you can deal with tension and loud. There's it's such an awkward moment, and it's not a spoiler, but there's a moment where the film is just quiet. It's just quiet, right? And there's a scene that happens, and it makes sense when you've seen the movie. And if you have seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. But it's just silence. And there's always that awkward moment where you're in the theater and you're like, okay, I don't want to breathe too loudly. I don't want to cough. I don't want to chew anything. I don't want to drink my drink right now. This is very awkward. I don't want to make any noises, kind of deal. And all of us were just sitting there. I don't know about anybody else in theater, just sitting there like, okay, okay. you know? And one person finally coughed and it kind of made me chuckle a little bit because it's just such a weird, awkward moment. Last time I had that was with Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows. Was it two? One or two? I don't know. I have not watched this movie in a while. I need to get back to that. But nonetheless, I enjoyed the movie. At the end of the day, I enjoyed the movie. It's not the worst movie I've seen of the year. It's about middle of the pack, maybe a little bit lower middle of the pack of the films I've seen this year. I think I'm around 17 or 18 films this year. So it's there. It was enjoyable. It's not going to be a movie that, is going to be in my top 10 at the end of the year, I don't think. I mean, again, it's not even right there right now anyway. So, but that doesn't mean the movie's bad, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not going to I'm an overly positive person. I try to be an overly positive person when reviewing stuff, and if it's a movie I just can't stand, I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. I spend a fair amount of time talking about this movie right now because it's not bad. It's not terrible. It's not bad. It's enjoyable enough. It's thought provoking enough. It's intriguing enough. Like it's worth the time to watch, as far as I'm concerned. So that's my thoughts on Civil War day after seeing it. So if you've seen the film, let me know your thoughts, man. Did you enjoy it? Was it intriguing to you, or were you bored, man? There's no wrong answers. Movies again are extremely subjective. So let me know your thoughts in the comments here, man. All right, going from there, let's jump into some movie talk real quick. Now I did mention CinemaCon. Not going into a lot of detail about some things, but we're doing that special episode. So make sure you're subscribed to the network on YouTube or on Instagram or Facebook, so you'll get the notification when that comes out or when that's happening. Because we're gonna go into more fun detail. It's always fun again to talk movies with people. But let's see, DC wise, the logo for Superman, remember formerly known as Superman Legacy, the first live action film that'll be part of the DCU, headed up by James Gunn and Peter Safran, releasing July 11th, 2025. The first logo for the film has been shown. It was shown at CinemaCon, and I love it. I think the logo looks awesome. Looks kind of like sleek and speedy, if you will. But it looks cool. It looks awesome. Looks so good. It is now my phone background. Saver wallpaper thingy because I'm a nerd. I am a DC nerd, man. I love it. My two things, man. I have Halloween Horror Nights as the lock screen wallpaper, and then the other wallpaper is the Superman logo for the Superman film. So that tells you anything about me. That means I love my fandoms. All right. So I'm gonna have a great time with that stuff. So yeah, that was shown. James Gunn, not much is, because they're shooting the film right now, so no real footage was shown or anything like that. But he did say he and the crew will be on hand for 2025's CinemaCon to kick off the quote summer of Superman. So CinemaCon, you're thinking about it, it released in just happened last week, so it's in April. But the summer of Superman, it makes sense coming out in July and all that stuff, and summer's starting to really heat up around July and August, especially in these southern states. So I'm excited. Obviously, I love DC. I have a good time. I loved seeing that logo, and I can't wait to see what he is building over there with that film. Man, I have the utmost trust in him, especially with the things I've seen from him lately, be it Peacemaker and Guardians of the Galaxy. I've kind of always enjoyed James Gunn's work. So excited, excited for what's to come with Superman. But again, that's not till July next year. This year, the only thing we're getting DCU is Creature Commando, the animated thing. Which excited for that as well. I want to see how that turns out, and I love the fact that the animated cast, voice cast, is going to be the live action versions when they cross over into doing the live action stuff with them. So excitement all around. DC, especially the Joker Folie à Deux, or Joker 2 trailer came out. It did a trailer reaction to that. If you've not seen it, please go watch it. I'm just blown away by that trailer. I can't speak highly enough of it. You can see my reaction again on the YouTube Throw Me Podcast Network if you want to check that out. Let's see. Over in horror, Saw 11 has been postponed a full year. So Saw 11 will be coming out in September of 2025 now. September 26, 2025. So still close to its kind of like Halloweeny release time. Those Saw films like to release around then, right? So I like it, man. I think that's a good idea. Let's not rush these movies. They did release a video about with Billy Puppet talking about trying to make better traps and bigger traps and how the movies are about the traps, which they are. So I get it. It makes sense. Don't rush it. Saw X was a lot of fun. It was a good movie. So it was a good time. So I'm glad they pushed that back a little bit. The Crow has also moved release dates. It's moving within the year, so don't worry. It's not taking a big year release change. But The Crow, starring Bill Skarsgård, is moving from June to August 23rd, 2024. So, still a lot of people not too interested in that movie. I mean, I haven't seen the film, so I can't tell you much. We saw the look of the Crow. At the same time, I haven't seen the other Crow film, so I'm not the person who's going to get upset. Even if I saw the other Crow movie, I'm not the person that's going to get upset by, a photo. I need to see the film itself. So and we'll have to wait a little bit. So August is when that's happening, but still within the year. There were a lot of horror announcements at CinemaCon as well. Again, we'll be talking this more on the Throw Me weekly show that'll be releasing. But just quick notes here. Jason Blum, almost said James Blum. Jason Blum has announced that Blumhouse will be reviving the Blair Witch Project with Lionsgate. So the Blair Witch is back. I have not seen those movies in quite some time, and apparently there's a Blair Witch movie that came out around 2016. I want to say 2016. That I have not seen. Did not even know that it happened. But I have had people that I trust tell me that it is a very good movie. So it is on the soon to watch list for sure. Disney's Alien Romulus movie is we showed a little bit of that, and it is said to be very scary. So that's good. That trailer that they released, the teaser trailer they released week or two ago that played last night before Civil War. So good, such a good teaser. It does look also like a tense movie, scary space sci-fi film. So interested in that. Let's see, Smile 2. There was a teaser for Smile 2 and some information provided for Smile 2. It did say that's going to be following a pop star, and her fans are going to be the ones dealing with the curse, if you will. Which first I'm like, interesting idea, and then I remembered the star of the film is Naomi Scott, who I absolutely freaking love. So, yes, and I'm assuming she's the singer. Yes, fantastic singer. Naomi Scott can sing, boy. Go back to Lemonade Mouth on Disney Channel with that one. DCOM original movie. But even more recent, I guess recent, I don't know how many years it was, Aladdin with that Speechless song. Oh, breathtaking. Breathtakingly good song. So yes, excited for that. And then Paramount is resurrecting the Scary Movie franchise. You're like, what scary movie? What franchise, Rob? Scary movie. The spoof comedy films from the Wayans family. That I don't remember when the last one came out, and I didn't keep up with them, all of them. I'm sure there's some I haven't seen, and I haven't watched them in a long, long time. But I was thinking the other day, I'm like, they haven't done one of those in a while. I think the last one, kind of like that, they did was a haunted house or the haunted house or something like that, which had Annabelle in it and all that stuff. So it's cool that they're doing it. I think it is a reboot. We'll talk about this more on the Thrill Me Weekly special, but good on them, man. It'd be fun to have it back and just think of all the movie franchises they can play with now and all that stuff. That's fun. So good to see that back. Let's see other news before we close out this show here. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is getting an R-rated live action movie, man. Paramount went all in, as CinemaCon it sounds, and they announced the Last Ronin. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin comic that a lot of people really enjoyed and talked about. I've avoided spoilers for that, thankfully. That is being turned into a live action movie, y'all. Insane. Excited for it. Of course, this is the first R-rated feature film for the franchise. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles having good times, man. Last year they had Mutant Mayhem, that was very well received. So excited for that. Last Ronin is also getting a video game. That was announced. That wasn't announced at CinemaCon. That was announced a while ago, but good on it, man. I'm excited for it and all that stuff. I don't know if they're gonna be coming around at the same time, but enjoy it, man. I'm glad they're doing that. Let's see. A script based on the book The Chris Farley Show, biography in 3 acts, written by Chris Farley's brother, is being adapted for a film starring Paul Walter Hauser as Chris Farley. Josh Gad will direct. I didn't know Josh Gad was doing directing, but good on him. And Lorne Michaels will be producing. Now, I loved Chris Farley to death. Chris Farley was him and Jim Carrey were the introduction to comedy for me, and I loved them in a big bad way growing up. Like I can't even tell you how many times I've watched Tommy Boy, watched Black Sheep a lot as well. I the best of Chris Farley on SNL, and sometimes I'll even go on YouTube and just look up Chris Farley clips. Like I freaking adored that man, and when he died, it was such a sad, sad day. And Adam Sandler's tribute to him not too long ago. Tear up anytime that pops up on my screen. So I, I'm I hope it's done with love. I know the family has given their blessing for the movie. From what I read, they've given their blessing for the film. So I do it well. Paul Walter Hauser is a very talented actor, so I trust him. Again, I don't know of anything directing Josh Gad has done, but I know he's a talent. So excited for that. I'm glad Lorne Michaels is behind it producing because, again, a lot of Chris Farley was Saturday Night Live, and that man would know him very well. Hopefully, David Spade's got a part in the film. Hopefully, Adam Sandler as well has a part in this movie because I know how close they were. So, hopeful that it's a good movie, and it should be. I mean, that's again Paul Walter Hauser. That's a talent right there. So I can trust him to do it. If it wasn't him, freaking Otis, WWE's Otis, he does Chris Farley almost every week on that show. He does some kind of impression, his kind of take of Chris Farley every week. That's 100% what that is. I don't care what anybody says. That's Chris Farley out there. So, yeah, nice to see. All right, and final bit of news here: Transformers and GI Joe are actually going to have the live action film. Um, so this may be spoilers for some people, so I'll say spoilers, but the film came out a while ago. Was it last year? Maybe 2 years ago. The Transformers movie that came out recently. I already forgot the name of. There at the end of it, there is the tease of the GI Joe, the GI Joes. So we knew it was coming. We knew it was happening. There's always been this talk of the Hasbro doing a cinematic universe, and here we go. It is happening. That last Transformers movie was not bad. Was it Rise of the Beast? Was that the name of the movie? I think. Not that bad. Like enjoyable enough, popcorny flick. So good on him. We'll see how it all works out. G.I. Joe. I mean, my thing anytime I hear Hasbro doing a movie is, what the hell are y'all doing with the Power Rangers? That's always my thought. Because Hasbro has the Power Rangers. So it's like, what are we doing with the Power Rangers? Are they going to be part of the cinematic universe? Are you going to make a freaking movie? Is there a TV show? That last show, the 30th anniversary special on Netflix, was great. I love that to death as a huge Power Rangers fan. What are we doing? get it out there. Get the property rolling. Let's go. So that's going to do it for this episode, man. Hope you enjoyed it. Like I mentioned, we have a special coming up, Thrill Me Weekly. We're going to be talking all kinds of fun stuff. We already had put out a Thrill Me Daily. That's something else we'll be doing on the network. We're doing some news stuff when it pops up. And we did that. I talked some HHN merch. They released a new shirt, or a new version of a shirt they've already released as well. There's talk of the hotels over there by Epic Universe, Terra and Luna, and it's on there. Just watch the video. So Terra, I remember Terra because I've made the stupid joke in my head, only to myself, not to anybody else, but to myself. I'm like, oh, HHN trip, Terra Nova. I'm gonna stay there because why? I'm there for Halloween Horror Nights, and Halloween Horror Nights gives you the terror. I know, it's a terrible joke. I know. But nonetheless, I made myself laugh, and we're living right now. So that's up there. And again, we have all kinds of fun stuff going on over there. But that'll do it for this episode, man. Civil War, spoiler-free as possible talk there. If you've seen the film, let me know your thoughts on it. DC, have you checked out that Superman logo? Do you enjoy it as much as I have? Probably not, but there's a possibility. Saw being pushed back a year. Crow being pushed back a little bit. Blair Witch Project coming back with Blumhouse. Blumhouse adding another one of those feathers to its cap of franchises that they just want to revive over there. Scary Movies returning as well. Not Blumhouse, but Scary Movie franchise returning. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are going R, and all that stuff, man. So appreciate you. Hope you had a great time with the show. I always enjoy doing the show and appreciate you listening to it. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, week, month, year. And as always, remember that happiness can be found, even in the darkest of times, if one only remembers to turn on the light. Talk to you all next episode.